Well, hello, everybody. My name's Helen Cooper, and I'm the founder of the Helen Cooper School of Luxury. We've been doing a number of interviews recently with some very successful Indian entrepreneurs in luxury, and I'm delighted that today we're joined for another in My Experience interviews by Rohan Machado from Creare. He has a fascinating brand and an enormous back catalogue of brands and experience that he's drawing upon to really bring something fresh and new into the luxury sector. So I'm looking forward to hearing an awful lot more about what you're doing and the new plans that you have ahead. Today, of course, we're hosted beautifully by Shreya Agarwal, our great friend and blogger. So Shreya, I'm going to hand over to you. And as always, I will be taking lots of notes and making learnings myself all the way through.
Thank you, Helen. And thank you so much, Rohan, for joining us today.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you so much for having me here.
Lovely. So Rohan, just before, we were having this, before we started our meeting, right? We heard about your background and your experiences that you gathered over the years, right? Working with luxury. Why don't we just give a very quick background about you as a person before we dive into your brand?
Yes, of course. Why not? So I actually started my career in the hotel industry. I worked for a hotel called ITC Moria. I was in the sales and marketing division for that. And actually, a very close friend of mine was working in the fashion industry that time. He was working for a brand called India. And he had mentioned that they were looking for someone to basically handle the made-to-measure division for them for the store in Delhi. And they were primarily looking for someone from the hospitality industry. So this was about 12 years back, and luxury retail in India was brand new. So I thought this was a great opportunity to try something new, and the luxury and fashion industry always fascinated me. So I took the plunge, and that's where my career in the fashion industry started. I was with Xenia for about 2.5 years, where I started as a sales associate from the grassroots level, and I started handling their made-to-measure division for all the stores. And then I got an opportunity with Gucci. They were introducing the made-to-measure division in India, where they were not only doing custom tailoring, but they have also introduced custom-made leather goods all across the world. So this was going to be a one-of-a-kind experience in India for the first time. So I was taken on board to handle the entire division for them. I was with Gucci for about 5 years, handling their top HNI clients, and I also had the opportunity to travel overseas with some of the clients, many brand experiences also. And after this, I had an opportunity to work with Berluti. Berluti was came to India about 4 years back, and actually 6 years back, Berluti was launched in India, and they were looking for someone who had a strong background in the leather, a strong leather background, and that's when I got in touch with them, and I was taken on board to head their entire retail division. So I was the retail operations head for Berluti in India. And after working for about Berluti for about a year and a half, I kind of decided that I think I need to do this for myself. I've learned as much as I could by working with some of the best luxury brands, and felt this was time to take the plunge and do something and create something in India that was never ever seen before. So that's when Priyarya was born.
Now, the reason why I asked you about yourself, and of course, we're going to talk about the brand, is because I wanted our viewers to understand the entire journey that you've taken. But let's talk about Creare now. Take us through the launching of this very, very exciting, I would say, the venture that you've taken, and a little bit more about it, keeping in mind, what was it that came to your mind when you started with this venture?
Well, I had the opportunity to travel quite a bit when I was working with these brands, and whenever I traveled overseas, I saw that luxury brands were really introducing collections with a lot of print, a lot of design, and artistry and creativity was a focus that was on the top of all of these brands. However, I felt that that was something that was missing in India. You know, we have a great heritage of some of the best artists actually are born in India, and we make some of the best leather products in India. And so when I thought of the idea of Priyarya, I immediately felt that there was a gap there, and we needed to come up with something that could combine the best of both worlds. So with Creare, we are a one-stop solution for all your leather goods. So by one-stop solution, what I mean is that we make all kinds of leather goods. Say, for example, Shreya, you come to my boutique today and you say, okay, Rohan, I want to make this particular clutch in this particular color, in this particular material, with a metal hardware in silver, not gold. So I can customize everything for you. So it's complete customization of your leather product. That's number one. Number two, you as a client come and tell me, Rohan, I just don't want a simple clutch. What I want is that I want a beautiful artwork, maybe a beautiful pop art piece on the clutch with my initials. We can get that done. And in fact, 3 years back, we introduced our restoration service because of a lot of the existing clients had all of these luxury goods, luxury leather products, and of course they were giving us the products to do the initials or custom artworks in them. But many of these products were worn out, they were discolored, they were torn, they were in quite bad shape. So we decided to introduce a restoration service where we also provide a cleaning service. So when you give us the product, we can clean it, we can restore it, we can recolor it, we can repair it. So this is reality.
Lovely. This this entire process of you creating this very exciting brand, I would say, because this is purely about customization and personalization. And when I went through the brand, right, the entire details, what I saw was you layering another layer of luxury on the existing luxury that we're looking at. So there was uh, taking it one step ahead of personalization, I would say. So the brand started in 2017. Was there anything that you noticed in the market where you thought that India, at this young stage that we are at in consumption of luxury, where you thought this another layer of personalization was required, and how did the audience even accept it?
Shreya, I'll go back to my previous experience of working with my previous brands, because that's where my inspiration actually came from. So that has actually explained the story of how I kind of realized that there is this gap of customization that is there, that is required in the market right now. So when I was working with these brands, and handling their leather custom division, uh, I realized the clients weren't afraid to customize, to try out new things, and to experiment. And by that I meant, I mean, there were clients who were ready to customize shoes in pink, in various different exotic skins, in with different hardware, which was unimaginable. Like if I wouldn't have done this, I wouldn't have even imagined that clients are ready. Clients in India specifically are ready to head in that direction. Apart from that, they had certain expectations from these brands. By certain expectations, I mean certain expectations of customization, where they wanted the initials there, or they wanted metal detailing in a certain way, in a certain pattern. So that kind of gave me the confidence that India is ready and our clients are ready to take this to the next level. And that's when I launched Creare, I felt that clients who already have luxury goods, for sure, after wearing them for a couple of times, maybe if there is a bag that a customer has worn 5, 6, 7 times, she's probably going to get bored of it. After that, she probably would not want to carry the same piece on the get together or party or celebration. But for example, if there is a really cool, funky art piece on it, why not? Then it becomes a completely new fashion
Product.
accessory. So that's where the entire idea of customization again,
I think that's a really interesting point, because I think even Western luxury brands themselves are recognizing that they've become just too available, and that really too many people can now have the same sort of thing. And so if you now have the money, and luxury goods are kind of your go-to handbag or shoes or whatever, actually you do want to have something which makes it very uniquely yours. It's almost going back to what were the origins of luxury, where it would be made specifically for you. And now these luxury goods are just becoming the canvas for the work that you're putting on there. It's really an interesting evolution. And I think it does highlight one of the challenges that the bigger luxury brands have now got, in that they're not seen as being special enough. Actually, for the real high net worths, they really want to stand out even more. And looking on your website, the pieces that you've done are just absolutely stunning. You know, you'd want to carry those, and it would become almost part of your character, rather than it being something which is an expression of what you think other people think of you. This is an expression of your character, so it's an indulgence from that point of view as well.
I completely agree with you, Helen, on that point. And in fact, just to share a couple of examples, in fact, a few close clients of mine, before I started this journey, the first question to me was, Rohan, are you making something rare? Are you making something exclusive? Because if not, don't come and show me your product. So that was the first question that somebody, a very, very close client of mine, asked me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, we'll talk about this a little later when we talk about the concept of sustainability also. But where you mentioned, right, somebody is using that product, and yes, as a human nature, we do get bored of carrying the same product, right? How do you not again go in the market and buy something new, but increase the longevity of the product and still feel that you're carrying a new piece? So I think that definitely adds that angle, and I feel the more we educate our audience about it, the more possibilities comes through. As just just as you mentioned, right, that you weren't even aware of the fact that people are even concerned about the hardware that's being used on the accessory, right? So I think it's just about educating audience, which we always emphasize on, that how important it is that the more options you give your audience, the more creative they get, and hence the market is also there for those kind of products.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Shreya. But also to add to what you were saying, our customers these days are very, very well traveled. They shop at the best of the brands in the world, and so the benchmark standards are really, really high. So I think the customers these days are very well informed, they're very well educated when it comes to fashion, and they can see through you. So it's very, very important to give them a product that is 100%, because if not, your customers might purchase the product from you once or get the service from you once, but they're not going to come back to you again.
Absolutely. So can you tell me a little more about your audience base? Because India is just, when we always talk about this as a country, right? It's a massive country, and we have different consumer psychographics both in the north and the south. And is there anything specific that you've seen in terms of your audience behavior in the market?
To answer your question, I was handling the custom division for all the stores in India when I was working with these brands. So I got to travel to many cities in India and interact with a lot of clients. Um, in terms of the client behavior pattern, I wouldn't say there's much of a behavior difference now. Earlier, maybe 10 years back, there would have been a difference where people who were living primarily in two and three tier cities were not that well educated or informed on luxury goods, or on what is the difference between an X or a Z. So That was kind of missing. But over the last 4 5 years, as I mentioned previously, clients these days are so well traveled that it really doesn't matter. And these days, brands go to the clients. So, for example, if there is a particular boutique in Delhi, a luxury boutique, they are for sure having events all across India, even in 2 and 3 tier cities. So it really does not matter anymore.
Right. So definitely the audience base is also expanding now that we say that even 2 tier and 3 tier cities, we're seeing the consumer demand increasing because of the purchasing power, of course, that's increased. So I'm sure that now people are coming to you even from these segments, right? So the market is expanding.
I think people from 2 tier and 3 tier cities were already there. They were
Okay.
just not tapped enough. Now
Right.
brands realize that, and now they're kind of opening their arms to everyone in India. But say 7 8 years back when I started my career, people were not aware that
Right.
there were such amazing clients in these cities as well. That's the difference.
Are you
Yeah.
finding that you're getting clients who have bought their goods, their bag, let's say, on the second-hand market, and they're bringing it to you to customize, or are these clients who bought it as an original, as from new purchase, and just have the money to be able to create? I'm just wondering if there's a difference in motivations. I mean, one wouldn't dare touch that bag because it's almost too much, whereas the others are thinking of it as this canvas and it's okay to add the extra creations on it.
So Helen, that's a really interesting question, and to just give you a product mix of basically what is going on is that 30% of the products that come to me are fresh, brand new products out of the store. Seven about 50% of the products are old products, and I would say probably just 5 to 10% are copies, or they're not luxury goods. I would put it like that, where clients are just want to try out how the service are, but they're not
Yeah,
really sure how it's going to look. They're kind of afraid that I'm too scared. I don't know how it's going to look. I hope my back doesn't get damaged.
yeah,
So just to try it out and see how it's going to look. That's when they give a slightly a low category product to try the service on.
yeah.
But Helen, also to come back to you on that point, I have also done artworks on Birkins, on crocodile Birkins, on ostrich
Wow,
Birkins.
wow,
So I've done artwork on 60, 70 lakh crocodile jackets.
wow.
So the product category that I've done artwork on starts from even 10,000 goes up to 70, 80 lakhs. That's the
Ah,
kind of product category
Great.
we've done artwork.
okay. Wow. Amazing.
Um, that is quite impressive in terms of how the audience is actually willing to experiment now. So at least that's a good news for the market. Now coming to the point which I'm super excited about personally, very close to my heart, is in terms of restoration of all these luxury pieces. And so very interestingly, I remember 3 years back when I was having this conversation with this panel member, and she came up to me and she told me, Shreya, why don't you create a business, where you can help people like us who invest things in, luxury bags or some heavy investment pieces, right? But we don't know how to maintain it, or where should we go to maintain it, right? And now that we're coming up with solutions, and there are places that people can go to. So this I personally believe holds a huge scope for a circular economy that we are trying to achieve, right? Can you tell us a little bit more about the market scope that people have in this, even for our entrepreneurs who are watching, to keep this in mind, that this can be a service which becomes mandatory if you have a luxury outlet or any service that you're providing.
Yeah, of course. You shared some great points, and I feel there is a massive scope in today's day in terms of restoration and repair of luxury goods. The number of people providing this service in India are still very limited. I can actually count the number of players in the market right now. Having said that, I still feel there is a long way to go still for the brands that are here providing this service to reach up to international standards.
Right.
We do provide restoration. I'm just talking about the service in general. A lot of the brands do provide the service. A lot of brands do a great job also at it. But what they fall short of is the after sales. There is no after sales. There is no customer experience. So basically, when a customer goes to a Gucci or an LV and buys a handbag, there is a beautiful selling ceremony that the customer goes through. There is a beautiful experience that the customer comes out of. However, when you go to a restoration service store and you hand your product, which is say worth 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs, the service standards that are available are really not up to the standards that a luxury brand should offer. So that's where we have really emphasized on and focused on. So of course, our service standards we try to. In fact, all our dyes, all our materials, they're all imported. We don't use local goods. We use only the best in the world. Having said that, our primary focus is customer satisfaction. We make sure we go out of our way for our customers. That's why we have a retention of up to 70% on all our clients who started using our service till now. Because we make sure that if our clients come to us, they go nowhere else. They're attached to us for life.
Extremely important when you, especially in the luxury business, it's about your customer retention. You can always focus on the outside market, but it's very important for you to ensure that your home customer is always taken care of. And of course, now that we are talking, I can see lovely bags behind you, Rohan. Why don't you give a little bit of sneak peek in terms of the new venture that you're coming out of?
Oh yes. So I am going to be launching a brand called Petina Story very soon. Uh, Basically, the DNA of the brand is basically hand dyed patina. So patina is an art form that can be done only by hand. You can't do it by using an airbrush machine. You can't do it by a spray gun. It can only be done by using your hand and brushes. So all the patina, all the bags that you see are hand dyed and they have a beautiful sheen to it. So when you see any of our products, there's a beautiful shine that comes out of it. It's because of the way the bags have been polished. So we use a certain form of bee wax, which basically gives a beautiful sheen and luster to products, almost like a lacquer finish that you see on wooden chairs or tables. So that's the kind of finish that we give our products. This is a one of a kind of product, never been done before. To do the art of patina is very difficult. I am a trained patina artist. I have trained on this overseas, and I have a very strong team of patina artists who've been trained also on and one to finish the patina on one product, it takes anywhere between 2 to 5 days. So that is how exclusive our products are. We the products that you see behind, if there are three duffels over there, my total inventory for this would be 25 to 30 pieces. I will not repeat the same piece again. So once we're exhausted, we're going to start a brand new collection. We are not going to be repeating the same piece. So that is the whole idea of Patina Story. It's going to be extremely exclusive, extremely rare, and it's going to be a one of a kind item. So if you have a brown color bag, the patina and shading is going to be completely different from the bag that Ellen picks up. It's not going to be the same at all.
Yeah.
So that is the USP of the Patina Story.
That's amazing.
And another unique thing about the Patina Story that we will be adding in the future is that on the website itself, clients will be able to add the initials, which will be hand painted. Apart from that, there will be a set list of artworks. So we will already have a catalog of about 8 to 10 pieces that the client can select on the website, and it will automatically get placed on the bag. And then on the checkout process, he can check out, and the bag will go with the hand painted piece at the end. So I have in some way brought a little bit of Creare into Patina's story as well.
I'm sure personalization is always the key. And definitely wish you all the very best for the new venture that you're going to start with. And I'm sure it's going to do extremely well. On that note, as we end our conversation, Rohan, one question that we always ask every person that we interview, over the years, over your learnings, over the years of learnings that you've had, one piece of advice that you would like to share with our budding entrepreneurs in the Indian market?
I think one piece of advice that someone had given me, actually a mentor of mine had given me a few years back, was dream big, but dream different. So it's very important to have big ambitions, great ambitions, and aim for the stars. But you have to be focused on creating something different. If you follow the rest, where is your own identity? So it's very important to have great dreams and aspirations, but create your own identity.
Very good advice.
Extremely important. You need your own USP to stand out, and that's your identity, and that actually is luxury, right? At the end of the day, to own your own uniqueness. Thank you so much, Rohan, for such a lovely conversation. I'm sure it's packed with insights for our viewers watching it. And once again, I wish you all the very best with your new venture. I'm sure it's going to be an absolute hit, I would say, in the market. And hopefully it sustains on the long run. Helen, anything that you would like to add?
I think it's just amazing how you're basically redefining the whole original concept of luxury and custom made wearable art, installations, painting a garage I saw on your website. It's just incredible that you're bringing the kind of the concept of luxury really back to its roots. And I love the fact that your team is formed of artists, people with unique art skills, from tattooing to graffiti and wall art and canvas. It's amazing, because that's a strong point of difference that nobody else is going to be able to do. And the sort of work that you're doing is exquisite, and I'm sure that it will continue to grow and attract the high net worth customers for years and years to come. And as you say, you're constantly reinventing, you're constantly looking at new ideas. So your new patinate bag, it's going to be fabulous, because it does have a different look and feel. So good luck with that. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm sure that the people who are watching these videos will really pick up from you that key message. If you're going to dream big, fine, but dream differently, and don't just copy, because the person who originally invented something, actually they're better at doing it than you'll ever be. So don't copy them, find your own path. But thank you so much, and good luck with the launch as well.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.